Welcome to week 9 of 16 weeks of SATs. Now, this week is a massive week in that we're covering long division. Now, long division is one of those problems that many people have asked for so far, and year on year, it's a problem that pupils struggle with, or a question type that pupils struggle with. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to take away the issues of. Now, the biggest problem with long division is the fact that we don't know the times table that we're working with. So, for example, if we're carrying out a question that requires us to divide by 48, for example, we don't know our 48 times table. So that's where the problems start. Now, the strategy that I'm going to show you today takes that problem away and allows us to just focus on a few tables and then applying that to the problem really, really simply. Now, I really like this strategy. I've used it for years. I give a shout out to a former colleague, Miss Crow, who introduced this strategy to me many years ago. And it is a strategy that pupils who I've taught it to really, really enjoy using, because what this strategy does is it allows you to not have to hold a whole load of information in your head. It just allows you to go through a really clear process, apply it to the problem, and you will get the answer very quickly. Okay, so the strategy is called partial tables, and we're going to dive straight into it now. So I've really been looking forward to this week's video, in that long division is one of those areas that lots of people want to master, and it's an area that lots of people tend to struggle with. Now, I thought we'd start with just by looking over what a long division question looks like when we get to it. So the first thing to know is, obviously, we've got the question here. It's laid out for us. So we've got, if we just highlight a few things, we've got the number that we are dividing by. So I'm just going to highlight this off in green. So this is really important. We're going to come to this shortly. And this is the number that we are dividing into. So really all this question is saying is, how many 43s do we find in 645? That's all the question is asking. How many of these in that? And that's it. Now, when we see this bit here, show your method, you're not getting any marks for showing a method, really. Ultimately, you'll get 2 marks if you get the answer right, regardless of what you do here. If the answer is correct, you will get 2 marks. There is 1 mark available for showing a complete strategy, and if you make 1 mistake within there, the markers may give you 1 mark. Okay, but ideally, we're not really working towards getting 1 mark here. What we're working towards is a really simple solution, getting the answer in here and completing these quite quickly. Now, the first thing to do, that we're going to do, is the strategy that we're going to be using today is something called partial. I'll use a different pen type. It's called partial tables. Now, all partial means is part of. So what normally lets children down in long division or any sort of division is knowing their times table facts. And the big problem really here is this number is 43. Okay, because 43 is the number that we're dividing by, and essentially we need to know the 43 times table, which off the top of my head, I don't know. I could start to double and work things some through, but ultimately holding this in your head and trying to do this as a normal division, doing 43 into 6, 43 into 64 and working out the remainders, that's really tricky. So I learned this table from a colleague of mine called Miss Crow, who used to work in St Helens in Hartlepool. She's now a head teacher of Hart and Elwick in Hartlepool. So Miss Crow used to be our maths lead, and she introduced this to us as a year 6 set of teachers. And I've always found this strategy really effective. And the reason why I find it really effective is because everybody can use it. And really, we only have to rely on our ability to double times 2 and half. Okay, so I'm going to show you it. So a partial table. So all we're going to create, and you can practice this. So if I just rub this out, and this is basically what we're going to do for each table. So as soon as we see a division question like this, and we see what we're dividing by, which is this number, 43, we're going to create something called a partial table. Now, a partial table, I'm going to make this a bit bigger, just so we can see it. Partial table basically means we're going to find part of the 43 times table. So again, I'm just going to highlight that in green so it corresponds. So somewhere on the paper, mostly probably over to the right, we're going to create the 43 times table. But we're only going to create some of them, part of that times table. So it's a partial times table. So we're going to use 1, 2, 4, 10, and 5 times 43, because we can work all of those out relatively quickly. Let's have a look. So 1 times 43 is just 43. And we write this down so that we can reference it, because if you practice doing this, you will get it really, really quickly. 2 times 43 is just doubling 43. So the reason why this is easy is because we can just double the 10s and double the 1s. So double 40 is 80, double 3 is 6. So we've got all of a sudden got 86. All right. Now again, from 2 to 4 is just doubling again. So we're just going to double this number. So double 80 is 160 and double 6 is 12. So all of a sudden we've got 192. Very, very simple. So we're just going to write that down. And we write it down so we don't have to hold that information in our head. 43 times 10, dead easy, it's just 430, isn't it? 43, we should know this. 43 times 10 is just going to be 430. So we can write that one down. And then 5 times. Now, I always say with the bottom one, 5 times is just halving. So if we've got 10, 5 is half of 10. So half of this number is going to be the answer to 5 times 43. So half of 420 is 215. So we can write that down as well. Now, essentially, we've got all the tables that we need to answer this question really, really quickly. Now, once you've practiced, we're not going to do this question here, but once you've practiced doing this and just going, right, it's a long division, partial table, 2 lines, the number we're dividing by, 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and just write these down really, really quickly. We can then, this will take 20 seconds. Then we can go straight into answering the question. But by mastering this partial table, we can answer these questions really, really effectively. And what this does is it gives you a really strong strategy to answer the question. And as I said, if you get to this point of 5 times and you can't half the number above it, that's fine. You can still get away with just using 1, 2, 4, and 10 times tables. And essentially all we've done is double, or 1 times, double, double, and then times by 10. All right. If you can half, great, it will help. But I would say don't worry about it, because we can just use these to answer the question. So let's have a look at some questions, and I'll show you how we can use partial tables really easily to answer long division questions. So here's my first example. Now, again, we'll try to use the same color system. We've got 368 divided by 23. All right. So the first thing I would do, as soon as I see this question type, obviously in the SATs, it's going to be laid out already for you. But the first thing we see is the number that we're dividing by. My strategy is I want to get straight into my partial table. So I would draw my 2 lines, and then straight away I would get into writing it out really quickly, just sort of autopilot. So 23 times table. Again, I don't know my 23 times table, but we don't need to know all of the times table to answer the question. So again, autopilot of 1, 2, 4, 10, and 5. Dead simple. So this is going to be 23. Double 23 is 46. Double 46 is, well, double 40 is 80, and double 6 is 12. So 80 and 12 is 92. So again, 92. 23 times 10, super easy, is 230. And again, times 5 is 115. But if you didn't know this bottom one, I'll just highlight it off. If you didn't know it, my advice would always be if it doesn't come to you within 10 seconds and you don't know what it is and you haven't got a strategy to apply, don't sit there wasting time. The 4 that we've got already, 1, 2, 4, and 10, is enough to solve the problem. All right, it might take us a couple of extra steps in here when we do it, but if you've got it, great. Now, the next thing we do is just go straight into laying out a standard division. All right, so we're just going to write the number that we're dividing by. I'm not going to use the square boxes because I'm going to run out of space. The thing with long division is it always takes up a bit more space. So I'm just going to try and work neatly, and I'm going to write the number that I'm dividing into. So we've got 368. All right, and I'm dividing If you want to do it like this, that's fine, by 23. So at this point, I've just made sure that we've got some nice clear space between so we can work. And what we're going to do here is we're going to carry out some subtractions. All right. So essentially with partial tables, what's happening is we're going to take chunks away from this number here, from 368. Because if you remember, all we said is how many of these, how many 23s are in this? All right. So we're just going to take sections away. So if we take 230 away, we're taking 10 lots of 23 away. And we just keep taking away and making a little note at the side of how many we've taken away, and that will give us our answer. All right, so I'll talk you through it. So the key is trying to take the biggest chunk away possible. Now, some children go, well, I'll take away 23. That's easy. Yes, but if you kept taking away 23 and doing subtractions, that would take forever. So if we can take away the biggest chunk, so whatever the biggest number is below this, so that here is 230, isn't it? So we're going to take away 230. And we're going to do that in standard subtraction. So I'm going to take away 230. And I'm going to make a note here in brackets to show that that is 10 lots, isn't it? All right. So I've the 230 is times 10. So I'm making a note of 10 here. And this is part of my answer at the end. This is going to give me how many I've taken away. So it's really important that we make this note. So again, it's a very simple subtraction. 8 take away 0 is 8. 6 take away 3 is 3. 3 take away 2 is 1. So that leaves me with 138. So I'm now going back to the partial table. Now the brilliant bit here is I'm not having to hold any information in my head. All the information that I need is here, and then I'm just carrying out a subtraction, which means my brain isn't having to work super hard. All it's having to do is think about what's the next number that I can take away. Now, if we look here, we could take away 92. Yeah, that's the biggest chunk. But we can also take away 115 because that's just less than 138, and that's 5 chunks. So I'm going to take that away. So again, take away 115, and I'm going to make my note that that's 5 lots at the side. Just going to highlight them off so we don't forget these at the end because these are our answer. I'm going to go back to my subtraction. Obviously, you would have a ruler. 8 take away 5 is 3. Very simple. Again, the math that I'm having to do here is as basic as it gets. 8 take away 5. 3 take away 1 is 2. And then 1 take away 1 is 0. So that's just 0. All right. So as you can see, that leaves me with 23. And what have we got over here? 23. We can just take 23 away. And that's going to leave us with a complete question. So I'm going to take away 23. And that is 1 lot. That gives me 0. So essentially, I'm at a point where the question is complete. And I've got my answer, my amount at the side that tells me how many lots of 23 we've taken away. So I've taken 10, 5, and 1. So hopefully in your head, you're going, well, 10 and 5 and 1 is 16, Andrew. So is that the answer? Yeah, that's the answer. It's that simple. So if there was a blue box at the bottom, we would put 16 in it. And that is the answer. All right. So really all the work that we're doing is here. And the reason why this works quite nicely is because everyone can do this. Column subtraction. Yeah, column subtraction. Just take away. We can all do this. Everyone that's watching this video, you've done this for years in school, and you can take away really effectively. All right? And it's dead simple to do. You're basically using simple numbers like 6 take away 3. So the key here is just getting your partial table correct. Because if you make a mistake in here and say you doubled and put 48 here, then you will get the wrong answer because you'll take 48 away in here somewhere, and then this will be wrong. Okay. So the key with the partial table is just getting it right, concentrate on this bit, and then we just do a subtraction and record our answers as we go. Now, once you've got your partial table, doing this is really, really easy. And I'm going to show you on the next couple of pages how quickly we can work through a partial table question to get the answer. So I'm just going to run through this quite quickly on this one and just see where we end up in terms of time. So again, we're divided by 34. So straight away, I think 34 times table. So autopilot, 1, 2, 4, 10, 5. 34 times table. So 1 times is 34. Double 30 is 60. Double 4 is 8. So that's obviously going to be 68. Double 68. So double 60 is 120. Double 8 is 16. So that's 138. Sorry, 136. 34 times 10 is obviously 340. Very, very simple. And then half of 340 is what? Now, again, some of you may not be able to work this out. I can see that it's 170. But if you didn't get this, I would just be suggesting that you go, right, okay, I'm not sure on that. I can still answer the question without it, but I'm going to mark it down as 170. Great. So then we're straight into 748 divided by 34. All right. And again, if we just highlight these off, this is the number that we're dividing by. We've done the partial table. So we've done all the hard work. We really have done the hard work. Now it's just subtraction of taking chunks away from this. All right. So if I look at this, the biggest chunk I can take away is 340. So I'm just going to take away 340. And that is 10 lots. Just going to quickly highlight that off in green so we don't forget it. And then we're going to do the subtraction. 8 take away 0 is 8. 4 take away 4 is 0. 7 take away 3 is 4. So we're left with 408. Again, straight away I can see 340 again. So I'm just going to take away 340. Now, some of you at this point might have thought, well, you know what, Andrew? I saw straight away that I could take away 2 lots, 340, 340, add them together is 680. I could have just taken away 20 lots to start with. You could have done that. That's absolutely, you can take away whatever you want. But we're just working with things to make it easy. So 8 take away 0 is 8. 0 take away 4, we can't do that. So again, don't forget the basics of subtraction. So we can't do 0 take away 4. So that becomes 3. And we exchange. 10 take away 4 is 6. And then 3 take away 3 is nothing. So that leaves us with 68. Perfect situation. We can see 68 in the tank. Because this is what will happen in the end. You'll end up with maybe 4, 2, or 1 lots left. And you'll get a whole subtraction of 68 take away 68. So I'm going to take away 68. That's going to leave me with 0. And what I forgot to do here was mark on that we took away 10. Naughty, naughty. But again, that's a good example of things that can happen easily. And then as we do this, we took away 1. We'll just get rid of that. And that's highlighted. So straight away, we can see that was quite quick. I think on my timer, I've got here 3 minutes, and I've been talking quite a lot. But 10, 10, and 1. So my answer is 21. Can I always manage to get the highlighter? 21. And we would write that in the blue box, and we would get the mark. So again, relatively simple. The key bit here, and again, if I wasn't talking, we could probably push that down to a minute. And the best thing is, or 2 minutes. Now, 2 minutes is perfectly fine. The best thing is, I haven't really had to hold any information in my head. What I want in my head is the strategy. What do I do? Not making mistakes, making sure that I write things down and that I'm concentrating. I'm not having to work out in my head and using my fingers what 7 times 40 or 34 is, because that's where we go wrong. So let's have a look at another one. So again, we should be going straight into autopilot here. So we've got our 46 times table. Obviously, you would have to draw the lines. And then it's 1, 2, 4, 10, 5. Dead simple, 46. So the next one is going to be 92. Double 92, so double 90 is 180. Double 2 is 4. So we've got 184. Times 10 is 460. And half of 460, dead easy this time, is 230. So we can get straight into the problem. 1,242, giving myself a bit of room, divided by 46. So the first thing I'm looking to do is to just take away the biggest chunk that I can. I can see that's 460 in this instance. So I'm going to take away 460. Very simple. That's 10 lots at the side. Let's just highlight that off. Good. So again, 2 take away 0 is 2. 4 take away 6, we can't do that. So that becomes 1. 14 take away 6 is 8. 1 take away 4, we can't do that. 11 take away 4 is 7. So that leaves us with 782. So again, I can see 460, just my best option. Quite quickly, 460. note down that that's 10 lots. 2 take away 0 is 2. 8 take away 6 is 2. 7 take away 4 is 3. So I'm left with 322. Again, the biggest chunk, you could either take away 230 or we could take away 184. I'm going to take away 230 because if you didn't have this here, you'd be taking this away instead. All right, we can't take away another 10 because we've only got 322 to take away. So I'm going to take away 230, which is 5 lots. So I'll mark that down at the side. And then I'm going to carry out. So 2 take away 0 is 2. 2 take away 3, we can't do that. So that becomes 2, carry the 1 or exchange. That's 12 take away 3 is 9. 2 take away 2 is 0. And again, the magical thing happens where we're left with 92. So we know that we're going to take away 92 and get to 0. So take away 92. That's 0. That was 2 lots. And then I have my answer. All right, so that was quite a tough one. I've talked in it, and that took 2 minutes 35 with me talking a little bit in between. So it took about 2 minutes. Now that's absolutely fine. So again, our answer would be 10. 10, add 10, which is 20, add 5, which is 25, add 2, which is 27. So our answer would have been 27 straight away. We've got the 2 marks. We've only used up 2 minutes, and that's how we get the question. Now, again, obviously, you would have, I'm just going to get rid of that. Obviously here, you would have all the squares to work within directly to make sure that it just wasn't as messy as the way I've laid it out. I've tried to lay it out quite clearly, but essentially, again, if you've got the partial table right, all you're doing is just dipping into the partial table. What's the biggest number I can take away? Take it away, make a note of how many it was, and then you're just working your way down, and that will get you. And again, I've done these without really having to think, because I've done all my thinking here, and then all I'm doing here is just taking away simple numbers. Very, very basic. So this is the last example from me. And again, 64 times table. I don't know my 64 times table. So I'm just going to get straight into, we've ended up with a different color. That's fine. But we're just going autopilot, straight into laying the table out, not wasting any time. That's 64. Double 64. So double 60 is 120. Double 4 is 8. So I've got 128. Double 128. So we've got double 100, which is 200. And if I needed to, if you couldn't double that in your head, just make a couple of quick notes. So up here, just anywhere on the paper, I don't need that. So double 100 is 200. Double 20 is 40. Double 8 is 16. And then from there, just making these little notes. This somewhere on the squared paper, you've got 240, that's 256. Great. Okay, you might not be able to hold that in your head, and that's fine, 256. But making little notes of just doubling the 100, doubling the 20, and doubling the 8, and just writing them down quickly, that'll get you to here much quicker. And that's what we want. We want speed. Don't want you worrying about your own pride that you've got to be able to work out in your head. Just write some things down. This is going to be 640. Because it's an even number, it's easy at half. So we've got 320. So we're in a great position to subtract now. So let's do that. So we've got 1,216 divided by 64. And again, this is something that we don't really need to be too scared of. So again, I'm going to take away 640, which is 10 lots. 6 take away 0 is 6. 1 take away 4, we can't do that. I'm just going to use the red, so that's crossed out, exchanged. 11 take away 4 is 7. 1 take away 6, we can't do that, so we're going to have to exchange. That becomes 0, and the 1 is exchanged again. So we've got 11 take away 6, which is 5. So we're left with 576. All right. So again, we're going to take away 5 lots. So take away 320, because that's the next biggest number that we can take away. Just going to highlight them in green. Let's get rid of that. Let's get the pen back. There we go. So 6 take away 0 is 6. 7 take away 2 is 5. 5 take away 3. And then magically, even though that's quite a big number, this number here is here, isn't it? It's in our partial table. Brilliant. So it's job done at this point. Take away 256, which is 4 lots. That's 0. Don't even need to do that. We know that's 0. And then there we go. So we can see straight away our answer is 19. We would write that in the answer box, and we would go. So again, this is where the answer is made. And obviously we need here again, we need to make sure that some of these points of exchange in subtraction are done correctly. Because if we make a mistake anywhere in the subtraction, we won't, we might have been left here with 246, which then doesn't work. And we then, so you see what I mean. But essentially we get the partial table, right? 1s, 2s, 4s, 10s, 5s, and we get this done correctly. We're basically home free to just carry out a subtraction. And again, that one's quite a large one in terms of 1,216 divided by 64. I've managed to do that, fairly quickly in under 2 minutes by just concentrating. So it's really straightforward. So this is the first example of an actual SATs question. So again, we know the routine. I'm just going to go straight into this autopilot process that I keep talking about. So 21 is the partial table. 1, 2, 4, 10, 5. Okay, so one lot is 21. That's going to be 42. Double that is going to be 84. 10 lots is going to be 210. And 5 lots is going to be half of that, which is 105. So 30 seconds in, I'm ready to roll. And in the SATs now, I can just subtract straight from here. I don't need to write anything else out. All right, so I'm going to take away, my biggest chunk that I can take away is 210. So I'm just going to take away 210. So take away 210. Just grab my ruler. Not particularly straight. 2 take away 0 is 2. 7 take away 1 is 6. 6 take away 2 is 4. So I'm left with 462. That was 10 lots. So I'm just going to take away another 10 lots. So take away 210, which is 10 lots. Again, get the ruler. 2 take away 0 is 2. 6 take away 1 is 5. 4 take away 2 is 2. So I'm left with 252. So again, I can take away another 210. 10 lots. Take that away. 2 take away 0 is 2. 5 take away 1 is 4. And 2 take away 2 is 0. So I'm left with 42. Quite quickly, I can see that over there. So I'm going to take away 42, which is 2 lots. That's 0. And I've got 10, 20, 32. So I've got 32. That's my answer. I would write that in here. And that's my mark. And that took me, again, with me talking you through that took me under 2 minutes. So it was about 1.5 minutes to do that. And again, once we've got here and we've got the partial table done, we can get there. Now, we could have done that even more quickly. I'm just going to show you how. Excuse me. And it's through multiplying by 10, because some of you will be sat there going, oh, you can do this quicker, Andrew. You can. All right. So I'm just get up the eraser and I'm just going to rub out these markings. Hopefully that shows up. Now, if we look at the table here, yes, we've got 10 lots. All right, so 10 lots is 210. But we can also be here and go, you know what, Andrew? If I know that 2 lots is 420, then I know that 20 lots is going to be, if I know 2 lots is 42, I know that 20 lots is 420. I know that 40 lots is 840. So we can use multiplication of 10 in our heads to take away bigger chunks. So as I'm saying here, 2 lots is 420. 20 lots. So I could have took that away. So when we did the problem, I could have took away 420 because I know that that's there. Even though it's not on the partial table, I can work as a year 6 pupil and know that what 10 times bigger of both of these are. So I can work out 20 lots by times and by 10. So that means this is multiplied by 10. So it's 420. So I would note down that at the side, take away 20 lots. So you can see straight away how that is going to get you to the answer quicker. All right, so I'll just go through it. 2 take away 0 is 2. 7 take away 2 is 5. 6 take away 4 is 2. All right, that leaves me with 200 and 52. Then I would take away 210, which is 10 lots. Again, 2 take away 0 is 2, 5 take away 1 is 4, and that leaves me in the same position that we were there, which is take away 2, 2 lots. There we go. So we would have got to 32 again, but with a step less, because last time we took away 10, took away 10 lots, took away another 10 lots. So if we can see multiples of 10 over here, and know that, I'll write them down, and know in our heads that 20 lots is 420, and 40 lots is going to be 840. Even just having these two in your arsenal will help you take away bigger chunks, because they may be there. All right, so be very aware of 2 lots and 4 lots, because they can help you take away 20 lots. Again, I've not got the pen up. Can help you take away 20 lots and help you take away 40 lots by multiplying by 10. And just helps you over here take a bigger chunk away than just 10. Because again, if you've got to take 10, take away 10, take away 10, take away 10, and you could have just took away 40 from here, that would have saved you a lot of time. So again, this is one where straight away it's such a large number that I'm straight away I'm thinking, can I take away 20 lots or 40 lots like I did in the last video, or that I could have in the last video. All right. So again, autopilot. Let's go straight over to the 73 times table, which I have no idea about. So I might have to make some jottings. So we've got 1 lot, 2 lot, 4 lot, 10 lot, 5 lot. So that's 73. So double 73. In my head, I can double 70, which is 140, and then double 3, which is 6. So I've got 146. I'm not too sure about doubling this, so I know double 100 is 200, double 40 is 80, double 6 is 12. So I can work that to 280, 292. Great. So again, that might be a natural process that you go through, and that's fine. This is going to be 730. And then half of 730 is 365. So we've got 365. Now, again, this is a good example where I think a lot of pupils, because if you just think, oh, I have to do it, I think a lot of people might have got bogged down here and not being able to half 730. Now, if that is the case with you, I would have just left 5 lots and I would have just gone into answering the question. Okay, you've got 1, 2, 4, and 10. 5's great to have, but if you don't have it, don't worry about it. So again, so straight away, if we look here, if we just take away 10 lots, okay, 730, we're going to at least need to take 3 lots away. Now, I'm looking here and I can see 4 lots is 292. But 40 lots is going to be 2,920, which is right near here, okay? It's just under 3,000, isn't it? It's perfect to take away 40 lots. So if we do that, let's just do it in red to amplify it. So 40 lots is 2,920, and I'm going to make a note of 40 lots over here, all right? We're now in a great position to answer a question that if you kept taking away 10 lots, it's going to take you 4 times as long. So 6 take away 0 is 6. 6 take away 2 is 4. 0 take away 9. We can't do that, so don't get lost there. So we're going to have to exchange. So that becomes 2. So 10 take away 9 is 1. 2 take. So that leaves us, look, brilliantly with just 2 lots to take away. So we've basically answered the question in one chunk, which is amazing. So we're just going to take away 146. You might not even do that. You might just know that that's 2 and know the answer is 42. But let's just do it. 146. That's 0. That was 2 chunks. So our 2 chunks together, 40 and 2. We've basically got the answer in, 30 seconds. 42. By just being aware of our multiples of 10. So it was a great example in the last question and then looking at this one, because we could have taken away 730, but we would have needed at least 4 chunks. We would have had to take away 730 4 times. Take away 730, take away 730, take away 730, take away 730, then taken away 2 lots. But if we can just see our number and go, right, this is 366. If I times that by 10, that would be 2,920. That's perfect. Even if you'd taken away 20 lots, 1,460, that would have been a bigger chunk. But this is 2,000, spotting that 2,900 is just under 3,000. It's the perfect chunk to take away. And it allows us to answer that question. Now, if you'd gone take away 10 lots, take away 10 lots, take away 10 lots, that's fine. You'd have got the answer if you'd worked quickly and it had maybe taken you 2 minutes. It's worth it for the 2 marks, but essentially dead simple to get the mark. So again, 47 times table. I can't admit that I know the 47 times table off my head, top of my head. I could work a couple out, but again, autopilot. 47, 1 lot, 2 lot, 4 lot, 10 lots, 5 lots. So again, 1 lot is 47. Then we're going to have double 40 is 80, double 7 is 14. So that's going to get me to 94. Double 94. So double 90 is 180. I'm just going to make a little note. Double 4 is 8. Great. So that's 188. And again, you may be sat there listening going, why is Andrew, who knows these, writing down little notes? Now, this is just, there's no reason to be worried or embarrassed. It's more important to get this bit right. So if that means 94, if you don't know it straight away in the top of your head and you can make a little double 90 is 180, double 4 it's 8, and that helps you just add them together, do it. It literally takes 3 seconds, all right? But what it does is it guarantees that this is right. If this ended up being wrong, then everything's wrong. So we must get these right. Double 10, or not double 10, 47 times 10 is 470. And then half of that, we've got half of 40, which is 200, half of 70, which is 35. So we've got 235. Now, again, if you don't know the 5 lots because you're not great at halving, that's fine. Just leave it and we can work with 1, 2, 4, and 10. Now, again, because 610 is not a particularly large number, my tip in the last example worked because we're working with 1,000 number. So you're normally going to be able to take a really big chunk like 20 or 40. Here, 470 in reality is just under 610. So we're just going to take away 10 lots. So again, take away 470. Grab my ruler. So 1 take away 0 is 1. 1 take away 7, we can't do that. So that becomes 5. Exchange. So we've got 11 take away 7, which is 4. And then we've got 5 take away 4, which is there we go. So we're left with 141. The natural thing to take away now is 94, isn't it? So we're going to take away 94. And I've forgot up here to mark my 10 lots, which is important. 94 is 2 lots. So again, ruler. 1 take away 4, can't do that, so that's 3. 11 take away 4 is 7. 3 take away 9, we can't do that, so that's going to be 13, that becomes 0. 13 take away 9 is 4, and again, that leaves me with 47. So I'm going to take away 47, that's 1 lot, that's obviously 0, job done. So again, just to highlight them, we've got 10, we've got 2, we've got 1, so that's 13. We will be writing 13, and that's 2 marks that we would have got. Very simple, very effective. And again, that one, if you just got stuck into that one without me talking, this takes 30 seconds, this takes 30 seconds. You have this question done in a minute without really any thinking. I haven't done any really tough maths there. All I've done is use this strategy. So again, I'm seeing a big 1,000 number, which is 4,472. So in my brain, I'm automatically thinking there's going to be a good opportunity to use 20 lots or 40 lots here to save me some time. So again, once we've written this out, I'm just going to work through it and we'll see how quickly I can get this done. So autopilot, let's go. So we're dividing by 26. So we've got 1, 2, 4, 10, and 5. So we've got 26. We've got 52. Double 52 is 104. So in my head straight away, I'm making a note that 20 lots is 520, and this is going to be 1,040. You can make these notes if you want to. I'll just see that straight away. 10 lots is 260, and 5 lots is going to be 130. And again, we can also take a look at this and go, well, I know that 10 lots is 260, so that must mean 100 lots is 2,600. All right, and that looks much nicer. 2,000 taking away 2,600 is going to help us get rid of this quite quickly. All right, so again, just making this 10 times bigger is 100. So that's 100 lots is going to be 2,600. So making these little notes down here is really effective. So I'm just going to take away 2,600. All right, because I want the biggest chunk I can take away. 2,600, which was 100 chunks. So hopefully you're following me with that in terms of just being able to see that we can take away any chunk that we want, really. We've noted down 1, 2, 4, 10, and 5, but by multiplying by 10, we can also take away 20, 40, 150 by just making the chunks 10 times bigger. All right. So again, 2 take away 0 is 2, 7 take away 0 is 7, 4 take away 6. We can't do that. Oops, that's the wrong one. So we're going to exchange, that's 3, that becomes 14. 14 take away 6 is 8, and then 3 take away 2 is 1. So I'm left with 1,800. So again, that's making me look at this number, 40 lots, and taking away 1,400. Because again, if you just started taking away chunks of 10 here in this problem, chunks of 10 would have taken you forever. You would have spent a long time taking away chunks of 10. So when we see these 1,000 numbers, we really need to be making the 100 times in everything by 10 to get our times by 10 chunks. So we're instead of 20, we're taking away, instead of taking away 2, we're taking away 20, 4, 40, 100, 10, 100 chunks. So these chunks are really important. So I'm now going to take away 1,040. So that's the next biggest chunk I can take away, which I know already is 40 chunks, 40 lots. So again, I'll just quickly get my ruler to keep things neat. So 2 take away 0 is 2, 7 take away 4 is 3, 8 take away 0 is 8. All right, 1 take away 0 is 0, so that's done. So again, the next biggest chunk I can probably take away is 520. I would have said, yeah. So we'll take away 520, which is 20 lots. So take away 520. Again, make a note, it's 20 lots. So 2 take away 0 is 2, 3 take away 2 is 1. And again, so what's the next biggest thing we can take away? It's probably 10 chunks. So you can see there's quite a lot of work to do here. 260. So that's 10. 2 take away 0 is 2. 1 take away 6, we can't do that, so we're going to exchange. 11 take away 6 is 5. 2 take away 2 is 0. So we're left with 52. Take away 52, which is 2 lots, and that is going to be 0 left. So we don't need to do that. So essentially, there's a lot of work going into this. So again, we've got 100, 40, add 20 to 160, 170, 172. So our answer would be 172. But again, we've got there fairly quickly. I reckon that's one of probably the tougher ones that you'd face. The biggest thing here for me is learning to multiply these by 10 and just make these notes at the side. So you'll all be good at multiplying by 10. So you'll know that these here, if I just make a little note, we've got 20, 40, and 100, because all we've done is just multiply these by 10 and then basically multiply these by 10. All right. So you can all do that in whatever way you know how to do it. But by doing that, it enables us to take big chunks, because the biggest problem is children just going into autopilot and going, I'll just take away 10 chunks everywhere, I'll be fine. If you'd done that there, you would have needed to have taken away 17 lots of 10. So you would have had to take away 10 lots 17 times. And that would have took you forever. That would have took 5 or 10 minutes to get 2 marks. So we really have to have this awareness of, yes, this partial table is amazing, but we also need to see the lots that are 10 times bigger, that are dead easy to calculate as you go. And you can practice just doing partial. This is the important bit. I would suggest that when you come to the question section in a minute, which is this page, so a really good thing to get into the habit of is just being able to practice your partial tables. Again, so on the next page, we've got a lot of questions that you can do, and you'll want to go straight into practicing the division. But the first thing that you can do is if you just write some 2-digit numbers down anywhere on a piece of paper, let's say 37, we'll do 24, we'll do 48, and we'll do 76. So I've not laid them out particularly effect, but this is just to practice doing the partial tables, because ultimately the partial table is what it's all about. So again, don't worry too much about lines and stuff like that, because it's just practice. 37, and then just 1, 2, 4, 10, and 5. So we've got 37. So, and this is more about making sure that you're confident, so that when you get a division question, you can do the partial tables. So double 30 in my head is 60, double 7 is 14, so that's 74. Again, double 74, so I've got double 70 is 140, double 4 is 8, so I've got 148, and I've got times 10, dead simple, 370, and half of 370, some of you might struggle with that, but half of 370 is 185. So, but again, some of you might not have been able to do that. That's fine. Now, the key thing, I'm just going to rub some of these out because we're not going to have enough space in the end. So we'll just rub that one out and rub that one out, and we'll do another one in a minute. But essentially, get into the habit, especially with these three. Well, all the bottom four, but if you haven't got the bottom four, don't worry about it. But this one, this one, this one, and this one, get into the habit of just, especially if you're dividing into 1,000 number, we're going to need those bigger chunks. So we know that that's 740. We know that that's 1,480. We know that this is 3,700. We know that this is 1,850. Yeah? So all we've done is multiply these numbers, the yellow numbers, if I highlight them now, we've multiplied them by 10 to get 20 lots, to get 40 lots, to get 100 lots, to get 50 lots. And all this means is that we can take away, when we need to, much bigger chunks, so that we're not stuck with just take. Now, in a normal question, that's going to be fine. But just practice this. Just practice this and then making these little notes. All right. So again, if I just wrote a random, and you can just do this at home now with your parents, whoever at school, just write some 2-digit numbers down and just practice working the partial table out. So again, let's just say it was 76. That's a bit of a stinker, isn't it, really? But let's just do it. So again, partial table. Don't worry about it too much. 76. We've got 1 lot, 2 lot, 4 lot, 10 lot, 5 lot. And this is what we need to practice. All right, so that's 76. Double 76, well, double 70 is 140. So I might just make a little note. Double 6 is 12. So I know that's 152. Because this is where we get into problem stations. Double 152. So double 100 is 200. Double 50 is 100. Double 2 is 4. So I've got 304. So that was quite quick. If you know. Then we've got 760. And then half of 760 is going to be 380. But again, if you couldn't work that out, I wouldn't be too worried about the bottom one. All right, so 5 lots, don't get hung up about it. And again, if I knew I was going to be dividing into 1,000 number, I'd probably be thinking, well, 20 lots is 1,520. That's going to be 3,040, 3,040, 7,600, 3,800. So again, I know that that's 20 lots, that's 40 lots that I can take away, that's 100 lots that I can take away, and that's 50 lots. You might not need them, but knowing that that's there, multiplying by 10, seeing that 0 appear at the end is going to help us. So I haven't got any examples that you can practice, but if you just write down any 2-digit number, you can work out the partial table for it, and that will really, really help you. So maybe after this slide, just write down spend 20 minutes, half an hour, practicing creating partial tables, and then you can have a go at some of these questions. So I've made these questions so that none of them have remainders. Again, fairly simple numbers to divide by, but getting progressively more difficult. All right. So again, in these ones, once we start getting into these 1,000 numbers, especially these ones over here, I would be expecting you to start using your larger lots, so your 20 lots, your 40 lots, your 100 lots, your 50 lots, to take them away in bigger chunks, which means you have less calculations to do. The bigger the chunk you can take away, the less chunks you will need to take away overall, because there's less left. All right. So definitely practice these, and definitely practice your partial tables. And I hope that all of that has made sense. So that was long division. I really hope that you found that useful. I think a lot of you will. The key to this, again, with anything like this, is practice. You must go away and practice. Just because you've looked at some of the video and how to go at 1 or 2, we really need to make this automatic. So 100% go away, use the practice questions, and have a go at mastering that. And then the key bit that I will always say is make sure that you practice individually creating the partial tables. The partial tables are the key to success. Make sure that you master that, practice it in isolation, and then take the partial tables into solving the problems, where basically all we're looking to do is do a straightforward subtraction and make a note of how many lots we're taking away each time. So that's my big tip. Practice those partial tables, creating the partial tables and the multiples of 10, and you will succeed with long division. Please leave me some comments and let me know how you've got on with that, and keep letting me know about any other videos that you'd like to see. Please make sure also that you subscribe to the videos. I haven't said that the last few weeks. Please make sure you subscribe and make sure that you follow the channel so that you keep up to date with everything that's happening. We've got another 6 weeks, 7 weeks of videos, and then it will be the SATs, and over the next few weeks we're going to be covering fractions, percentages, and everything else that you need to master for your SATs. So keep working hard, and good luck in the coming weeks as you prepare for your SATs.